did your brother, from what you can remember, did he ever consider himself a Chicano rapper, and did he ever consider his music Chicano rap?
See, that right there is I don't think he did, honestly, being straight up, because back in those days, nothing Chicano rap didn't even exist. Everyone was a rapper.
Right.
You know, it was brown, black, white, it was a rapper. You know, Chicano rap wasn't even around back then. I mean, you know, Elijah Brown didn't, you know, I don't think they said they were Chicano rappers. They were just rappers. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't think he's never ever spoke to me about that. But as time went by, you know, obviously we were all labeled Chicano rappers and shit, you know, when he got out of jail, the time when I got into the Brownside.
Okay. The reason why I bring that up, because I was there when my manager signed a group called Proper Dose, Frank V, Ernie G. They came up with a song called Mexican Power.
Right.
And even back then, it was never called Chicano rap. Of course, we were all Chicanos that were in the industry. Okay, I get that. But that name didn't come around till later on. So I wanted to know, for the fans' sake, if your brother, I guess during that time, but you answered it, never really, from what you can remember, consider himself a quote-unquote Chicano rapper. He was just an artist.
Right.
Okay. Now, when that album dropped, from what you can remember, what was the response that you were hearing on the streets?
Shit, when that album dropped, we had a lot. Well, they had. I say we because I was always a little fool with them all the time. Shucking. They had a lot of love, man. They had a lot of love everywhere we'll go and shit. People would recognize them because they would have the Brownside jackets or hats on or shirts, whatever. People were knowing, not as much as now, honestly, but back then it was just really hard because there was no social media. You know what I mean? There was no fucking none of that shit. It was just radio play, and you know, if you're out there performing, they done a lot of performings like in the House of Blues and shit like that. And I remember pulling up to the parking lots of any concert they will go attend to, and people, oh shit, the Brownside, you know, let them in. So yeah, that's what I remember. Yeah.
Okay. You know, Tony G, when I interviewed him here, he said Brownside was something unique. Now, I'm going to ask you, what do you think makes Brownside different or unique from everybody else?
Ah, shit, man. I mean, it's just the reality of their lives. You know, everything they rapped about was real. You know, everything they lived is real, and I mean, action speaks louder than words. You know what I mean? I mean, look around. You know, they keep getting killed and shit. I mean, it's fucked up to say. You know, I mean, I wish I was lying. I wish it was different. If it was up to me, man, I wish it was just all they were fake rappers. They would still be alive. You know what I mean? Fuck that. I'd rather take fake for them to be alive and have them still here and shit. But it's just the reality of who they were. They're real G's, man, and they literally lived that life. And I think there's a lot of dudes out there who you know, they try so fucking hard being gangster and shit, you know, and it's I mean, some of these fools, I'm not saying they ain't gangsters and shit, but it's just a whole different ball game with these dudes, man. My older brothers and the homies, you know, they lived that 90s life to the fullest. They rapped about it and always lived that life, that code right there, you know.
Well, you know what? I'm glad you touched on that, because, like what you said, it's the lifestyle. It's what made them different, made them unique. Because, sad to say, I'm sure we've known studio gangsters, you know. We've known people that claim they live that lifestyle. Look, I guarantee you, in your neighborhood and in my neighborhood, there's some OGs there that we don't have to convince people that they're real. People just know. So they don't have to convince anyone. The sad thing is that today we have people trying to convince you that, you know, they're real. And the sad truth is that everybody can see right through that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, oh well. So now, they released their music. What do you think, if, with your words, your brother's legacy is? When they think of Toker, what do you think that people think of?
Shit.
And then I'll tell you, having never met him, but gathering all this information, I'll tell you what I believe his legacy is.
Well, shit, when people say he's a legend, I think people think that just because he was a rapper and he was with Eazy-E and he was the first gangster rapper, a real gangster rapper, not like a rapper like, you know, you could say Kid Frost came out a little bit before my brother and shit, and people say he's the one that started it all. with that Asa song, which, you know, I'm not knocking that off him, but he just wasn't a real gangster. You know what I mean? He wasn't a real G. A lot of these dudes that came out before them, they weren't all real G's, man. And with all respect, and I'm not hating on them, they made some good music and shit, you know.
Right.
But I think besides him coming out as gangster as he was, with no lies and shit, whatever, people don't know the real reason why we, as family members, as homies, fools that knew him, call him a legend. Because he done a lot of crazy shit in the streets besides the gangbang shit. He was a fucking hustler, smart motherfucker that started shit and made it happen. You know, he made that noticeable since he was a young teenager when he was on 49th Street, when he started that empire right there where he had it blocked off, you know, around that block area where he was fucking selling dope right there and being the #1 dope seller there and took everybody's fucking clientele. You know, he had a little strategy behind that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And everybody was doing dumb shit back then. And it started from there where he just started an empire and he had bank. So with that money he could play with, and he was making people, helping homies out too, make their own money and shit, you know? But he was just doing some crazy shit that a lot of dudes wouldn't do. Like unbelievable shit, but smart shit, you know?
Yeah.
They lived these dudes right here, where my brother lived a good fucking life while they were out there in the street gangbanging and shit, you know? They had everything.
Yeah.
Top of the line guns, top of the line cars, top of the line girls and shit. They were it to look up to. Because when I was a kid, I wanted to be a gangster. You know what I mean? I couldn't wait to be a gangster to grow up and shit. You know, I used to look up to these cats right here, man. And it's just to explain that whole why he is a legend to me is hard to explain right here. You know what I mean?
Right.
And this is why I decided to go ahead and start on his book that he never finished. Just I'm gonna probably have to start scratch because of the book that he started. I'm sorry to say that it's under people who they don't know what the fuck to do with it. And if I start with it, you know, it's lawyers all on me and shit trying to threaten me to fucking get sued and shit. It's just a sad case. I don't even want, you know, it's just I want to let my brother rest in peace. But I know every single thing he wanted to put on that book that no one knows. You know what I mean? No one can write that book without me, and I'm not trying to fucking just say they can't do it because I ain't part of it. No, fuck all that. It's just 100% truth. You know what I mean? Me, with the homies and shit that were around him and all that, what he wanted to put on, I know it all. And it's like I'm going to have to start from scratch now to do it. You know what I mean? And it's just a matter of time where I find that right person that's going to help me write this, put it all together and shit, you know? I can't incriminate him no more. I can't incriminate the homies, you know, doing the ones that all passed away. So I think it would be only right. He's gone. I think he would love me to share that part of him because that's who he was. You know what I mean? It's going to be a raw-ass book. It's going to be something very fucking, it's not going to be for the faint-hearted people.
Yes.
I just got to keep it 100, you know? That's what it was, what he was. He wasn't proud of it, but shit had to be done, you know? And with that being said, man, it's just going to be tripping out even the fans of everything, why certain people died, and you know, it's gonna be a crazy shit, man, you know. Okay. And it's gonna have to be done though. But to me, he was a legend in a lot of different ways, you know.
Okay. You know what? Now, once again, from all the information that I've gathered from people, not one person that I've interviewed on camera or off camera have ever told me anything negative about your brother, and that's just
right.
100% truth. But one thing that I get, what I think his legacy is, if people were to ask me, did you ever meet Toker? First of all, I'm going to say no. Okay. What did you think of everybody that you interviewed that talked about him on or off camera? Here's what I'm going to say. Everybody said that he was a good man, a hustler, entrepreneur. He cared and he looked out for a lot of people.
No, yeah, they were all correct. They were all correct. I don't knock that off of nobody. They all met him after, you know, in Huntington Park, you know, mm-hmm. and all the people that I've seen that been here are the people who kind of met him already after the fact that he was already Brownside and stuff. I'm not knocking nothing on him. That's exactly who he was. He had a good heart. Besides him, you know, mm-hmm. having that gangster mentality, he would help people out, you know.
Yeah.
You break them off. You know, he had the money to do it, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's 100% what everyone said. Okay. What everyone said. I don't think haters will talk shit. You know,
right.
But
well, I haven't met, honestly, unless they just weren't true to me, but right. I haven't met one hater that said anything negative about him. Now, I know you mentioned the book, and then a while back you had mentioned, if I'm correct, a documentary.